Hello and welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Dark Sage Walker, and fortunately, I'm physically feeling much better. You'll notice that I didn't say anything about mentally, but to be fair, actually, I'm not doing bad mentally either. I'm just in a situation right now where it's hard to get around because of our apartment management company, but we will worry about that in a bit. I've got an entire episode to complain. So let's start by setting up a build. And the first thing I want to do is set up the signature. And I'm thinking about doing a build that is focused around Aqua Breaker. Why Aqua Breaker? I don't know. Felt good. Big sphere of water, hitting enemies with water pressure and making it difficult for them to breathe. Why not? So, let's get wet. That didn't sound right. Forget I said that. Now it's just a matter of what do we do with that. Our next goal should be to keep things under control from a distance. And some of the best ways to do that are going to be spells like... Hold on, which one is Rippling Rupture? It's neat, but it's not quite what I had in mind. Actually, I kind of like the idea of... embracing vines. Plus, it does good damage. So what I want to check now is, after an enemy gets grabbed by the vines... No, they don't get moved. Actually, that's kind of cool. I like that. Alright, so we're going to see if that works out as well as I like. As far as our dash is concerned... Let's throw up Frost Feint. That will allow us to keep enemies off my ass. And now our basic. It kind of feels like we're going in the direction of power again. But is that entirely the case? It kind of feels like we're almost going with something a bit more generalist. So let's grab something that's just kind of... Let's see, is that what I had in mind? $8,817. Is that going to be what I had in mind? Well, I'm gonna go with it because it's a very interesting, water feeds earth, earth sets up for water kind of thing. So we're gonna go with that. I think the best robe to go with is this one. And what is the best idea for starting relic? Do we want to focus on critical? Do we want to focus on power? Or do we want to focus on something completely different? Just looking over the options. So, in my opinion, the best thing to start with would actually probably be something along the lines of Jade Chakra Locket. Because I can very easily foresee things going wrong. By the way, I did roll and I did get the jazz soundtrack second time in a row, so that is what I'm working with. Alright, so we've got a very interesting kind of thorns in water kind of thing going on. I thought about going with Wavefront, but I decided I kind of prefer this. Now, where do we start? Honestly, I think because of what we're starting with, and because of the idea that we've got a projectile as our signature, we should just get Atlas out of the way now. And we are now in a position where our choice of see what I mean? But yeah, we're now in a position where our choice of signature looks really bad because we now have the twins and Freya as our second and third levels. And of course, they're going to resist the damage. Alright, hold on. So our next best bet, our next big thing that we need to do ow. Is we need to grab some stuff in order to make... Okay. So, best thing here is probably the heavy travel jacket. Cool. But yeah, we're gonna need to grab some stuff to make those levels a little easier. Okay, so let's grab Frost Feint upgrade. Now, as far as what I was saying about, you know, our apartment management making it difficult for us to do things, we are now in a position where the elevators in our building have been down for almost a week now, and I blame our apartment management for two reasons. One, because they have the option to upgrade the elevators and put in new carriages. And the reason why that keeps getting brought up is because the parts necessary for our current elevators are getting harder and harder to find, and it's getting more and more difficult to service these elevators. So instead of just buckling down, spending some money, and making sure things go right, they would rather play stupid games. And by the way, what is the Embracing Vines upgrade? They also poison. Okay, well, not a big deal, but hey, it's a thing. So the two things that are going to be the most useful are going to be the Adorable Mimic and the Tiny Crocodile Heart. But it's going to be hard to really get anything out of the Adorable Mimic. Alright, so here's what I'm thinking then. We're gonna grab this. I could just grab one thing to feed to the Mimic, which would give me a 10% damage bonus. But let's lean a little bit more heavily into the defensive factor, and we're just going to have to try to find more offensive stuff in the near future. So yeah, that's one thing that's bugging me. Tesla coil is a maybe, so is Cabby's raw chocolate. So that's one thing that's bothering me. I mean, this is nothing new. Our apartment management company has been bugging the shit out of me for a long time. I don't normally vocalize it, and this seems like a good time to do so, just because of how evident their garbage is right now. Let's upgrade that. Like, they're making things more difficult for us, mostly because they just don't want to spend the money to make things better for us. And I can't begin to tell you how much that bothers me. Now, it would be one thing if we only lived on, like, the second or third floor, if we were in a small apartment building. But we are on the 7th floor, so going up and down the stairs necessary to get around right now is a long-winded and physically demanding task, which the other thing that's probably coming to people's minds is, oh, what's wrong, Darksage? You two out of shape to go up some stairs? And no, that's not necessarily the problem. The problem is that it's wrong to expect people to just take the stairs all the time. When part of the reason why we're paying the amount of rent that we are is that we have that available to us as a service and a convenience, to basically have it be continuously removed, and I say continuously because this is not the first time our elevators have been down, is just wrong on a lot of levels. Combine that with the idea that there are a lot of people living here who actually aren't necessarily physically capable of going up and down that many stairs, and it starts to become very clear why this is such an ever-present problem. What do we got? Well, we're definitely grabbing twin turbines. And I'll also grab Terror Ring. Alright, that was worthwhile. Alright, so what do we have here that we can make the most out of? We're going to be using our basic a little bit less now that we have more combat options. We're going to grab that. But now we really need to be focusing down on offensive stuff. That'll kind of help. Alright, not bad. I mean, I don't really have a strong use for that, but oh well. So the other thing that's been really bothering me is I've been kind of following this Baldur's Gate 3 controversy. Not that it should be a controversy, and it's been really shining a light as to what a lot of modern game devs think of the people who play their games, namely what they think that we should expect. And it's become clear that a lot of them really feel as though the right answer is for us to lower our expectations. And I'm not putting words in anyone's mouth. That's actually what's been said. There was a recent I don't know if it was an interview or something with I think it's a developer. I want to say his name was... this probably sounds like I'm making it up, but Gary King, I think? Someone King. I'll have to look it up, but... He actually flat out said that the right thing for us to do is to lower our expectations in order to fit into line with what the gaming industry has in store. I am going to grab that. And this just feels so wrong, like... Oh, I hate those macho ghouls so much. And they're pretty much the ultimate antithesis to the freeze status effect because it resets their attack pattern after you unfreeze them. But I mean, if that don't beat all, we should lower our expectations because games like... Okay, stop. Because games like Baldur's Gate 3 don't come along all the time. It's like, do they think that we expect everything to be Baldur's Gate 3? No. No one is necessarily expecting that. What we're expecting is that when we go to buy a game that, you know, it works at launch. Is that really so much to ask? Like, we're not expecting the literal world out of our games. I mean, we're expecting a world, but we're not expecting it to deliver us the world that we're currently living in. That would be ridiculous. No, all we want is for the games that we play to actually function. And apparently that's asking too much. Like, seriously, how do these people sleep at night? Expecting us to lower our expectations to meet their demands. Like, you are aware that in the long run, video games are a form of entertainment. And they are a form of entertainment that I love, don't get me wrong, but that's precisely why we're so critical, is because we love this form of entertainment. Like, we're not... we certainly aren't asking that every game be as big or as immersive or as open-ended as Baldur's Gate 3, but I don't think it's asking too much for games to respect our time, respect our money, and understand that it's not asking too much to have games that function. Apparently, modern game developers would think otherwise. You know, I have two things that work out well with that. I might as well grab it. So just this idea, and I'm making it sound like that's the only thing that the guy said in that article. That's not true. He did say some things that are a little bit more based, but that was the thing that was said in that that really threw me for a loop, because it's just so tone deaf. I love Flame Fusion, but I'm not going to grab it because I know that Freya is going to resist the damage from it. Here we go. I mean, yeah, it's not going to be as good as if I had found it earlier, but you know what? Every little bit helps. Like, we're now actually sitting rather pretty when it comes to a... when it comes to a nice balanced load of stuff. And like the last time I pointed this out, what makes it really upsetting is that it is developers from these larger publishing and development arms that have the money and the manpower to make bigger, greater experiences. But they want us to focus our attention on these rather crappy, low-effort live service Skinner boxes. That's the part that bothers me so much. It's like, you can't just be happy for someone for making a really good game. No, you have to be like crabs in a bucket and try to drag everyone else down just because you don't want to put in the efforts. You know how pathetic that makes you look, and how much it makes me not want to support your games. Like, I'm already a huge supporter of the indie game sphere, and that's mostly because I'm just so done with AAA developers. AAA, of course, in this case, standing for absolutely abhorrent assholery. All right, just got horribly D-padded there, but that's okay. Now, everything that I've been talking about is a part of a video that I was recently watching, so I will post a link to that in the description of this video, just so that you can all understand where my sources are and what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's upsetting to me to think that this is the state of the gaming industry where they want us to ignore things that are actually well made and good, and focus on lowering our expectations to meet what they want. And I guess we've kind of known that for a while, but it's one thing to hear it directly from the horse's mouth. It's, you know, crazy to think that Mr. Ed got into video game development, but, you know, dad jokes aside. Sweet, this is working out really well now. Come over here, buddy. Thank you. Alright, let's wait for this to come. Actually, no, we can afford to just go. Alright, so I'm actually rather liking how this build is working out. And of course, the stupid roly-poly bastard had to interrupt my casting. Yeah, this is definitely a good pick. But lest anyone think that this is all just complaining or yelling into the void, no. The reason why this is such a sticking point for me and probably for a lot of us gamers isn't because we just want to tear things down. It's because we want things to get better. Alright, I've had enough of you. Alright, let's go ahead and grab a potion now. And the only way to make things better is to acknowledge what isn't working in the moment. Which, of course, that's rather hard to do when their solution is to blame us and say that the problem is that we haven't lowered our expectations enough. Thing is, this whole idea of creating a new standard, it happens all the time. And the reason why new standards keep getting created is because there was never really a major standard to begin with. And let's throw some examples in the air. I think I'm good. As far back as 1985, the NES revolutionized video gaming as we know it, and things like Super Mario Bros. And The Legend of Zelda set a standard there. Then later, things like Sonic the Hedgehog would set a standard for high-speed platformers. Then Super Mario Bros. 3 would set a standard for just platformers in general. Then Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past would do it when it came to top-down adventure games. And as for more recent examples, Elden Ring and Breath of the Wild absolutely revolutionized the idea of what an open-world game can and should be. So those became standards. Dragon Quest VIII through him put up some pretty interesting standards for what a turn-based JRPG could look like. Disco Elysium set standards for what an interesting just RPG in general should be. And now it's happening again with Baldur's Gate 3, only this time it's coming from, and I think this is the crux of the case here, so, you know, if you think I'm right, let me know in the comments. If you think I'm wrong, let me know in the comments there as well. For two reasons. One, because I love a good discussion, and two, for that sweet, sweet YouTube engagement. Alright, give me this. Let's momentarily drop those and see if Dr. Song gives us something really good. She did not. It's alright, you know what? It was worth trying. And that's kind of the point, is that standards keep getting made and the ante keeps getting upped by developers who actually give a damn about video games as an art form. You know, things like interactive storytelling, interactive media. Like, these are all... like, these are all things that should have their boundaries getting pushed. Ow. No, thank you. So, yeah, that's kind of what's been on my mind, is just how far the video game industry has kind of fallen at this point. And yeah, it kind of makes sense that at this point there aren't that many trustworthy AAA development houses left. Because these people don't understand what making a good game is anymore. Either that or they just aren't willing to put in the effort. God damn. Thank you. So, part of the reason why I wanted to do this is because I wanted to experiment with entangling vines. And actually, I kind of like it. It's one of those very good... I would definitely call... oh, embracing vines, sorry. I would definitely call it very much a mid-tier arcana, but mid-tier doesn't mean bad. It means it needs a little bit of assistance to be really good. Pardon me. So yeah, if you guys get a chance, definitely check out that video that I'm going to link in the description below. Weigh in on what you think about this whole quote-unquote controversy, because it's really more like modern AAA devs are lazy pieces of shit who want us to just keep spending money instead of actually expecting a good game. Also, let me know what you think about embracing vines. I think it's a very interesting wall-like thing that is good at holding enemies back. And maybe Aqua Breaker wasn't the best choice for signature, but I think it worked out rather well, and I'm still happy with how this turned out. Ultimately, I hope you guys enjoyed everything that I had to say and everything that this run turned out to be. This was definitely a lot of fun, and I hope you guys have some fun trying this build out for yourselves. As always, I super appreciate you guys coming and spending some of your free time with me. I hope you have a fantastic day or night wherever you may happen to be, and I will catch you in the next one. My name is Dark Sage Walker, and take care, everybody.